Since Ethan talked to his ghost dad, or whatever that version of Jim was, people have been thinking about what the Lake of Tears is. A lot of people have their opinions. They point at the maps that we've seen and say, that's the Lake of Tears, that's the Lake of Tears. Some people speculate that, and maybe Ethan actually thinks it was the Lake of Tears, where the Cabbage Patch monsters, the Kool-Aid Cabbage Patch monsters, came out of the water or got dragged out of the water. But what really is the Lake of Tears? Is it an actual place where life can be brought back? Or is it something else? Usually in this town, things that seem like they're going to be one thing are actually something else. And it's usually something much more horrifying. Speaking of horrifying things, hi everybody, I'm Phil the Issues Guy, and welcome back to a From Theory video. Something I don't usually do, but this is something that's been stuck in my head. And whether I'm right or I'm wrong, I feel like I need to put this information out there just in case. So, the Lake of Tears is something that's been getting to me for a while. What is this Lake of Tears? Is it a physical, actual place that people can go? Does it make you cry when you go there? Is there just some sort of emotional reaction? Is there someone playing a harp down by the water that makes me feel emotional every time I hear his tune? I mean, that wouldn't be too far off from what happens with Jade and that damn violin. But the Lake of Tears had been talked about a lot in the beginning half of season 4, but it hasn't had a lot of mention in these last couple of episodes as we're gearing towards the end. If people are listening to this after the fact, this is in between episodes 7 and 8 of season 4. And one thought keeps flashing in my head. If we look at all the pictures that we've seen, the drawings that have been done by Miranda or Victor, we see a flood often represented. A lot of people think the flood will come towards the end of this season, or maybe at a different time. Maybe it is the thing that resets the cycle if we are in some sort of cycle. So maybe the Lake of Tears is not a good thing. Maybe it's not a specific thing. Maybe it's just something simple, like the metaphoric way that this place describes when everyone dies in the flood. And I do think this isn't just speculation. Yes, I'm looking into my crystal ball and doing my best internal Miss Cleo voice and thinking, I think I know the numbers. I mean, realistically, when it comes to theories, the way I go about things is I don't mess with simple things like facts. You know, I don't need evidence. No. But realistically speaking, that's the important part. To look into the show to find points where they actually dictate what you're speculating. But for me, it's usually just a feeling, and when I have to try to explain why I feel this way, it's just, well, in season 1 when I first saw the boy in white, I thought he was creepy. And I don't trust his little creepy ass, so I think he's evil. And that's why, like, my biggest thought since season 1 is that the boy in white is the ultimate evil there in some way, shape, or form. There's a few other things along the way of thoughts that I have, but they're usually just feelings. This Lake of Tears thing, it is multiple things, but it is one thing. Basically, what it really makes me think, and the reasons why I feel this way are more from the pictures. If you look at these images, you can see the images of the flood, and see those drops. You could say they're raindrops, but to me, I look at them and I think they remind me of teardrops. And then you see the blood in the water and everyone flowing back and forth and going like that. And that to me symbolizes that they're dying in there. And the Lake of Tears is simply just the way that this place refers to the flood killing everyone. Because almost in a madman-like way, in a crazy warped universe that Don Draper was having to put an advertising campaign to what these creatures are doing to people. And if there was a flood aspect of it, you could see Don Draper being like, hey everybody, here comes the lake of Tears. Isn't it? Or Peggy would come up with that. Didn't she say like the box of kisses or something like that for Kleenexes that you wipe your mouth with lipsticks? Yes, and I'm quoting random Mad Men episodes, but just for referential purposes of where my head is at, thinking this particular thing. So that's it. There's not much to this. This isn't some deep conspiracy or something. I just think this place tends to, in this show, tends to tell you things literally, but in an interpreted different way. Like, you can look at it, interpret it in many different ways, but ultimately the answer is often quite literal. And I think in this case, it's literally the tears of the people dying in a flood. And that's what the Lake of Tears is. I was just gonna say are. I don't know why I keep wanting to say that. I keep wanting to say the Lake of Tears are. And I don't think that makes sense. I'm no English major, but that don't make no kind of sense to me. Anyway, everybody, thank you so much for checking this out and humoring me with this nonsense. Let me know what you think. Does this carry any weight for you, or do you think I'm full of absolute crap? Either way, I hope to hear from you. Thank you so much, and talk to you next time.
Dude.